Have you been toiling in mid-management and think you're ready for a promotion or a raise, but you're not quite sure when or how to position yourself to ask for what you want? I'm Cheryl Grace, and you might want to join me every second and fourth Sunday of each month as I help my rising star mentee climb up the next rung of the career ladder on Live from the Pink Couch.
Currently working at an organization, and she is aspiring to be a vice president. She's been at this organization for about 3 years, right, Mailee? And her homework assignment was to find someone that she could delegate the in the weeds work to. She was responsible for devoting 1 hour each workday toward conceiving a big picture initiative that can help reposition her as a visionary leader versus a worker bee. Now, Mailee was a little hesitant to try this, but Mailee, did you do your homework assignment?
I did. I did
Yay.
do it. It I think rolled out a bit differently. Perhaps than, a set hour on each day at a set time. But I did complete the assignment.
And tell me about it. What did you learn from doing it?
I think, there's just a lot of definitions and work types and sort of responsibilities for the role in sort of like a VP role of community affairs or CSR work. And I found that some of the jobs are more like operational, or they're more like business, like the implications of CSR on business, and more sort of like an analysis lens. And I think, in looking at the broad range, it reinforced where I want to be involved in this space, like that I want to be more around community and bringing people together and building communities and supporting community, I guess, engagement or coming together, the relationship the organization has with the community. So that it helped me, doing some research around that to really narrow in on my focus, and that it ends up being more like community relations driven, and less around like the operational pieces of how you can work in CSR, corporate social responsibility. Does that make sense? I learned a lot about that.
So you want to be connected with people, it sounds as if, because you want to work with a nonprofit organization, or did you also see that there are corporations that are doing some pretty, I've got community affairs as my background, and I do some pretty cool work for a corporation. So did you find any corporations, or is it all pretty much nonprofit oriented that you want to work on?
No, I found corporations, and I think, I really like nonprofit work, but I think one of the things we talked about last time was being a do-gooder with resources. And I have had the ability to dabble in sort of what that looks like on the corporate side. And again, it's the corporate space is a place where I think you do have more resources to be able to do some pretty cool stuff with. And it's not to say that you can't do it in nonprofit. The scalability and the funding is just harder to come by. But, I think, it's possible. But I'm also open to how this might look on a corporate scale.
Okay, so what I hear you saying is you could go back to corporate, or you could lean toward staying a nonprofit. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. How about we do this? How about you make a list of 10 companies that you could go work for, that you would feel in your heart, right? A dream list. If you could make a dream list, 5 corporations, 5 non-for-profit organizations. Because I will say that national nonprofit organizations, they have the budget and the bandwidth to give you what you want. So if you're looking at staying in Chicago, because I believe during one of our previous conversations, the desire was to stay in Chicago, right?
Yes.
So there are some national nonprofit organizations who have chapters here, who may have the bandwidth that you're looking for, and there are also some national companies that are headquartered here. So if your desire is to stay in this market, I would encourage you to find 5 and 5 of each here in the Chicago area that would be like your dream company. Okay. Now, but have you stepped out of the weeds at work?
Well, the good news is I've become more aware around opportunities for me to step back. And I've also verbalized in a couple of different ways the need to be able to allow myself to have the time and the space to do the higher level thinking and planning, and admitting, being more intentional and having it sort of at the center of my thinking that that I need to organize my structure or my team or myself and my work to get out of the weeds. So there's been a couple times where I've said it, and I think it might seem kind of small, but it was intentional, and it's just brought the need for this more front and center, which I didn't recognize before. I felt it, but I didn't recognize it, and I wasn't intentional about removing myself. So I've made strides.
You made strides. So if you had to say yes or you had to say no, because it's a yes or no question, would you say that you have stepped out of the weeds? And be honest, if you haven't, because it's only been 2 weeks.
Yes. Okay. To some extent.
To some extent. All right. So I need you to practice on that a little bit more this week, so that next week when I ask you the question, it's a yes, Cheryl, I've stepped out of the weeds. I want you to get out of the weeds so that you can grow where you are, in addition to looking at where you can possibly grow outside of your organization, okay?
Yeah.
Because we want you to do that. Because we're still working on, if you recall, we're still working on you doing a big initiative that you can deliver to your executive director or CEO or head of your organization there, that will have them thinking of you as a visionary, right?
Right.
So dream big. Think of those companies and nonprofit organizations, Chicago-based, and come back next week. And we're going to be able to say yes, because then you will have had 4 weeks to get out of the weeds. I don't want you to stop taking time out for yourself every day, you guys. All right. And this is, one of Cheryl's Pink Couch tips is you need to spend some time every day working on your dream. Like, don't get so caught up in the day-to-day world. And this is to all of the people who are joining us as viewers as well. Make sure you spend a little bit of time, take a small bite every single day at achieving your dream, getting a little bit closer to your dream. Thanks, Mailee.
Check out the full Live from the Pink Couch web series and keep up with all 5 mentees' progress on powerfulpenny.com. This has been a Powerful Penny LLC Pink Elephant production.